TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donation. Shalom ve'erev tov. Good evening. Welcome to our daily TV7 Israel News Bulletin, broadcast from Jerusalem. U.S. President Donald Trump warns Iran over its defiance vis-à-vis reaching a diplomatic solution to the Ayatollah regime's nuclear program. The Ayatollah regime in Iran is bracing itself for growing prospects of domestic upheaval. And Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar pushes back at Ukrainian allegations related to stolen Russian wheat. Jerusalem is bolstering its strategic relations with Belgrade alongside other friendly capitals globally, particularly those who've stood with the State of Israel during the past 2.5 years of conflict since the abhorrent attack by the Islamist Hamas terror organization on October 7th of 2023. Serbian Foreign Minister Marko Đurić, who concluded an official working visit to Israel, surprised the press corps in attendance when he opened his remarks in relatively fluent Hebrew.
אני רוצה שכולם בישראל תדעו שבסרביה, בבלגרד, יש להם חברים אמיתיים.
I want everyone in Israel to know that you have real friends in Serbia and Belgrade. This friendship is not a day or two old, nor is this friendship since 1948. It is much older than that. We stand with you during these difficult times. We understand full well that which you are experiencing. We had experienced terrible hardships during the 90s and in the subsequent period. I am very happy that today our relations are strengthening and that we have had conversations about the future. I am certain that as time progresses in the future, our relationship will strengthen even further.
Meanwhile, Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar was asked to respond to a question about circulating reports related to Kiev's allegations against Israel related to imports from Russian cargo vessels transporting wheat that was said to be stolen by Russia from occupied Ukrainian territory.
Clearly, we reject this kind of Twitter diplomacy. And now to the facts. The Director General of our ministry, spoke earlier today with the Israel Tax Authority, which has begun an examination of the matter. When you examine something, you check the facts. The vessel has not entered the port and has yet to submit its documents. It's not possible to verify the truth of the Ukrainian claims regarding the forgery of the bill of lading. Up until this point, the Ukrainian government has not submitted a request for legal assistance. They submitted tweets. This is required when the claims concern criminal acts committed abroad. Nor has the Ukrainian government provided evidence for its claims. Israel is a state that abides by the rule of law. Israeli authorities are obliged to act in accordance with the law. Legal discussions must be based on evidence. As I said, we reject Twitter diplomacy and we will not be influenced by that. We say again to our Ukrainian friends, if you have any evidence of theft, submit it through the appropriate channels. It's a bit surprising coming from a country that we supported in international forums, supported in so many ways, including humanitarian help in so many ways, lately with energy generators last winter, but probably this is life. We will stick to our principles and to the principles I mentioned.
Jerusalem's top diplomat further addressed the latest developments vis-à-vis Lebanon.
Negotiations with Lebanon are important. It could be an opening to a different, better future. But the Lebanese government must take practical steps to restore its sovereignty against de facto Iranian control in its territory. Efforts, where they exist, have been partial and limited to open areas. They have not dismantled terror infrastructure in private property, in the homes, and in terror bunkers, even in the slightest. Weapons have been discovered in civilian areas, including within schools and hospitals. It's not weapons of the Lebanese army, it's Hezbollah's weapons. Our operations are defensive, aimed at dismantling Hezbollah's terrorist infrastructure near our border. No country would be willing to live in such way with a gun pointed to its head.
It is important to know that Israel continues to systematically degrade Hezbollah's terror infrastructure throughout territories south of the Litani River.
Today, we blew up a massive Hezbollah terrorist tunnel. We are destroying their terrorist infrastructure, we are killing scores of terrorists, and we are not done yet. We are operating within the security zone, south of the Litani, north of the Litani, in the Bekaa Valley, and in northern Lebanon. A few weeks ago, I gave a directive for a special project to eliminate the drone threat. It will take time, but we will blow that up too.
Repeated violations by Hezbollah of the U.S.-imposed ceasefire in Lebanon are resulting in a high toll. Yesterday, an Israeli Defense Ministry contractor, 44-year-old Amir Hujirat from the Arab town of Shfar Amir, was killed when a Hezbollah explosive-laden drone struck the vehicle Hujirat was operating, together with his 19-year-old son, who sustained light injuries. This deadly attack came a day after separate drone attacks were reported, with IDF troops sustaining casualties. Meanwhile, in the central city of Petah Tikva earlier this week, 19-year-old Idan Fuchs was laid to rest after Hezbollah drone attack claimed his life and wounded 6 other soldiers.
Wherever you went, you immediately won over the hearts of those around you. You didn't have to do anything, you weren't even aware of it, that's how modest you are. Your heart is full of love and goodwill, and that's how I want all of you to remember him. Do you promise?
Turning to Iran, where growing concerns of a new uprising are evidently troubling the Ayatollah regime, as it is considering separate steps to alleviate mounting tensions. Among others, the terror regime in Tehran said it would eventually consider restarting the internet nationwide after 3 months of total blackout. Nevertheless, such a step would only take effect after the war ends.
Given that the current situation is a crisis situation, naturally, after the relevant authorities declare the situation normal, the internet situation will change. But I want to emphasize that everyone's concerns in this area have been heard. The issue of businesses, the issue of free access for people as one of the civil rights. We respect it and believe in it. And naturally, a specialized body in this area will provide you with detailed explanations.
An Iranian military spokesman subsequently announced that from Tehran's perspective, the war is still ongoing.
Regarding the current situation, we have not considered the war to be over. From the day the fighting stopped and, in effect, a ceasefire or silence took place on the battlefield, since there is no trust in the United States and our enemies, we have continued in the same way as during the war, making serious efforts to update our list of targets. We have continued our training, used the experience of the war, and have both produced and updated our equipment. For us, the situation is still a wartime situation.
برای ما شرایط جنگی است هنوز.
It is important to highlight that the Islamic Republic of Iran continues to defiantly reject any discussions on its nuclear program. Consequently, U.S. President Donald Trump posted on his Truth Social platform an AI picture of himself with a quotation reading, "No more Mr. Nice Guy," accompanied with a statement which read, quote, "Iran can't get their act together. They don't know how to sign a non-nuclear deal. They better get smart soon." The American leader's post comes at a time when dozens of American cargo aircraft continue to flood the Middle East on a daily basis with munitions and additional weapon systems. Meanwhile, in Helsinki, Finland, during a joint press conference between Finnish President Alexander Stubb and his Estonian counterpart, President Alar Karis, yesterday, the two heads of state confirmed that there appears to be a backlog of American defense materials to Europe in light of the ongoing war in the Middle East.
We have an ongoing discussion on defense material deliveries, much like we have an ongoing discussion on the delivery of icebreakers. So we continue this conversation with the Americans. Because of the global situation, in other words, the war in Iran, it is a public secret that some of the stocks and delivery systems in the US are either going elsewhere or being delayed. But I don't see any need for alarm here in Finland. And to your final question, are we on some kind of a blacklist? Haven't heard anything about that, so not worried about it at all.
We are in the same position in that sense. I know that there is a delay. It's probably a question to our Minister of Defense, what kind of missiles or ammunition we are missing, but as far as I know, it's HIMARS. That gives a signal that in Estonia and in Europe in general, we should much faster develop our defense industry, not relying on different countries in the world. And the second thing, we should maybe do some things together, procurements and so forth, to make sure we get things done together in that perspective as well.
It is important to point out that the backlog existed prior to the breakout of Operation Epic Fury, or Roaring Lion, on February the 28th, with reports of defense industry backlogs dating back prior to October 7th of 2023. Meanwhile, in the Western Pacific, the Philippines and the United States are holding joint military drills with more than 17,000 troops taking part in the annual Balikatan, or shoulder-to-shoulder exercises this year, including approximately 10,000 soldiers from the United States. The U.S. War Department said the scale of the drills underscores the U.S. defense commitments to the region, even as it remains engaged in the Middle East, while in contrast, China dubbed the joint drills as a risk, raising regional tensions. The Philippines Defense Ministry voiced confidence in the United States' commitment, pushing back at claims that America's deterrence against prospects of Chinese aggression was on the decline.
I'm not concerned at all on reduced deterrence. What I'm concerned about, which is a concern of all, are the supply chains and the price of petroleum and other essentials that pass through the Straits of Hormuz. That is a major concern of everyone.
It's important to explain that the countries most impacted by the Ayatollah regime's belligerence against freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz are countries in the east and southeast of Asia and the Pacific. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News, which is made possible by the generosity of our viewers. If you would like to help support TV7 Israel, which is exclusively donation-based, you can do so via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. Please keep praying for the peace of Jerusalem and redemption of Israel. Jonathan Essen wishing you an Erev Mevorach, and God willing, until our next update, Shalom from Jerusalem.